What is up, everybody? Hope your ears are bleeding now.
I know mine are.
If not, they will be soon.
Yeah.
This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Podcast, episode 240. I'm joined along with the rest of the Nerd Cave crew.
I am Robbie.
I'm Allie.
Hope that your week is going excelente. If you're
Muy excelente.
yes. This episode is brought to you by Grammarly. We'll talk about more about that later on, though. And Patreon.com. So if you want to get it early, check it out there. So, how has everybody's week been going?
Been pretty good. We've all survived the ice storm of 2018.
Yeah.
Here over in Pensacola and Gulf Breeze, Florida. Everybody else's work and school got canceled.
Yours didn't.
Mine did not. We closed for the hurricane that hit nowhere near us. We're not going to close when there's ice on the road.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, that's my luck.
Was
But
the ice
you
super
know,
bad?
ended up. I mean, it wasn't too bad
Okay.
by the time I got on the road because I had something break on my car that
Yeah.
like a hose busted because of the cold, so I had to fix a busted hose on my car in like 22 degrees weather.
fun.
No, that's always fun.
Yep, my hands came back like. But you know.
How was that again? Okay. For the audio listeners, Robbie's hands are contorted. I just wanted y'all to see that.
Just been chilling, hanging out with friends, playing some video games, but that's about it.
Good. Allie, how about you?
It was pretty good. I had a lot of time off. Like, I had a lot of schoolwork to do, and then trying to get back into. Like, that's the thing is, like, I was trying to like practice like piano and stuff for school, but it's been so cold I can't practice because my fingers, like, they'll get all numb, and I have bad blood circulation in my fingers, so like they already get really cold, and so trying to practice, it's like my hands get frozen. I'm like, I'm gonna go home. But
Yeah, because you practice in a church that when they don't have church,
Yep.
they turn off everything.
Yep. So it gets either like really, really cold or really, really hot.
Yeah, it's good for the tuning of that piano.
Oh, so good,
Yeah.
so good. That piano's so.
I just don't think people think about that kind of stuff.
No,
Or, like,
they
whatever.
don't.
Yeah, and then I'm running on about. I don't know.
As I scoot closer to you.
Yeah, 3 hours of sleep. I got 4 the night before, so.
You got 5 hours of sleep
Yeah.
in the last 2 nights.
I'm
Feeling good.
yeah,
Feeling good.
feeling real good.
So me and Amy last week went to the Florida Music Educators Conference. No, this is not a FMEA association, whatever. Anyway,
FEMA?
this is not the FEMA conference.
No, it's yeah.
This is not a music podcast or anything, but it was a good time. Got a lot of good food and everything. And then this week had Monday off because of Martin Luther King Day.
Had
Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, I went to work on Tuesday. Halfway through the day, they were like, oh, everything's canceled after this point in time. So rehearsal that night was canceled for all county. Wednesday had off. So Wednesday, like, Amy's been wanting to see snow like nobody's business. So it kind of iced over here. It wasn't really snow much.
Yeah.
So we got up and we ate cinnamon rolls because your mother has pretty much ingrained, if it's cold outside, chili and cinnamon rolls is the only way to warm up. So we had cinnamon rolls, which were awesome. And then Amy wanted to see the snow. So the only place I knew that would have snow would be my mom and dad's house. So we went up all the way to Jay, so she could see some snow and everything. I hung out with them, and it was a really good time. But just a word to the wise: when you have a significant other and they want to have something or want to see something, you make sure that they get that.
You do.
Because then they're happy, and then you're happy. So it was a good day.
Happy mom, happy life.
Yeah, it's a very good saying. Because it's true, 100%. But other than that, just work and excited for kicking off this week. Like, this is the real full week of the Nerd Cave's return for 2018. Last week dropped a lot of knowledge bombs on people.
Yeah. It dropped, things. Obviously, the new set it
Mm-hmm.
dropped. Our new Patreon tiers, which you guys really need to check out. Because,
Yeah, they're awesome.
there's everything from extra episodes to giveaways of some really cool prizes, and it's not that expensive either. It's pretty much probably less than what you spend eating out each week.
Oh, yeah, easily. I know, definitely. Like
you can what you pay for a meal at McDonald's, you could pay here and get way cooler stuff.
Yeah.
And less grease, way less grease.
Yeah.
Actually, no grease.
No grease at all, unless someone doesn't bathe, and then.
Well, do we have like the? Because I think it's like candy store. I don't know. There's like some like food factories where it's like they have like a certain like dead animal, like dead bug percentage.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a lot of their
acceptable.
Like
Yeah,
cereal
so-
and peanut butter, they have an
Yeah.
acceptable amount of.
So like we have that. We have an acceptable percentage of grease on stuff.
Yes, 10%. But like just thinking about that, I go to Chick-fil-A quite often. If I didn't get breakfast one morning, I could support us at $5.
Oh yeah,
And
those chicken manis, man, they're delicious.
I don't do the chicken minis.
That's
I do
my
I do the number one. I get the actual biscuit. Like the chicken minis are good. It's just too sweet in the morning for me. Like even though I get a large sweet tea.
It's too sweet because
Too
I'm
s-
already drinking sugar.
Yeah, yeah. One last thing before we get into all the awesome stuff that we want to talk about. The format has changed on the show. If you haven't watched last week's episode or listened to it, we're no longer talking about video games. That is its own separate show, and it does have a name. Last week I didn't have a name.
Yep.
It is called Nerd Cave Plus. Nerd Cave Plus, and that's going to be starting on Tuesday of this week at 7:00 p.m. Who's going to be co-hosting with me on
When is
Tuesday?
it?
What is it again?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Do you have anything Tuesday?
I'll have to double check.
One of them will be co-hosting
Yeah.
with me. So if you're wondering where all the gaming news, I knew this kind of in 2017 turned into a gaming show pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, there's
and,
so much to talk about.
and we'll still be releasing the audio for the podcast.
Yeah. There will be an audio version of Nerd Cave Plus and everything.
Yes.
So it will
So-
be twice weekly, Tuesdays and Thursdays. That way you're getting content fresh and it's not a week old.
Yeah.
And because I didn't want the listeners to just listen to us on the podcast. Well, I don't want them to be like, oh, well, I'm losing out on all the gaming news. You're not losing out on any of the gaming news because we are still bringing it to you.
If anything, you're getting more because we're able to like put more time into it.
Mhm.
Also, there's 2 shows.
Yeah,
The
they're
same
not.
show, but it's twice a week.
Yeah. So it's all fresh and clean. It's live. We'll be taking questions as well. I've built a form, and I'll talk more about that on Nerd Cave Plus. But there's a form. You'll submit your questions. We'll read it live as I burp into the mic. But we won't talk to the chat. We will not talk to the chat.
Oh.
Just putting that out there so everyone's already aware. Nerd Cave Plus will be a non-chat inclusive.
Because we've had, not people of the Nerd Cave, but, people who just randomly popped in. They're like, these guys aren't even talking to me. We're peacing out.
Yeah.
Sorry. We don't want it to be like that, but for the sanctity of the show.
Yeah, it's a podcast. And then once we get into the gaming, we'll have an hour or so
Yeah.
gaming. Then that's when we'll talk to the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to let everybody know where all the gaming stuff is because
Housekeeping.
because that was one thing that people wanted, and then we did, and then it felt like we just talked about gaming. So we've revamped the show. It's a lot more kind of laid back. It's like a bunch of
Cash.
friends.
It's Cash Fridays.
Back to what it what it used to be, and I think that's when we were at the height of the podcast world now. But
Popularity.
when I felt like we were at our best is when we could, come in here and be like, "Yo, man, have you heard about this?" And then we just talk about
I'm
it.
like, yo, I haven't heard about that. Dude, tell me about that.
And then I tell you about that.
I love
Saw, bro.
it. Saw, bro, fam.
Lit.
It's lit.
Lit. So, to start it off, have either one of y'all been to an IKEA before?
No. I've
No.
always wanted to go, though.
I heard you got to put a lot of small things together before you can get there.
What do you
IKEA, because they're known to have
You got all little.
before you can get the furniture
yeah,
put?
you have to prove your worth.
Yeah, you do.
They have puzzles.
It's like before you get into the store, you have to prove your worth to get into the store.
No,
There's a grand wizard. Every time someone comes, he goes, "You shall not," and then you can't go in.
I think that would be a poor business model.
I think that'd be a hilarious
Like,
business model.
a very poor business model because you're turning away so many people that want to just go in. You know, if you've never been to an IKEA, one, you're missing out. This would be a way to see, like, if you want to date somebody, you take them into IKEA and you see what their tastes are, and it's like a 3-hour experience.
Oh.
It's a good way to weed people out.
Yeah, you're just like, what do you like? You know, you just see what they're about and everything. It tells a lot about a person.
Especially if they pick like a really uncomfortable couch, it's like this isn't gonna work out.
Yeah, you have no taste. But me and Amy went while we were down in Tampa. Like, ever since I went to IKEA 2 years ago, IKEA has been the greatest thing in the world. So Amy went with me, and we went in, and the whole time she's like, I didn't know they had all this stuff. And like, you know, you go into like rooms to go, and they have like little like sections that's like a room or whatever. IKEA is like on crack.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what I've seen some pictures, and I'm like, it looks like heaven.
Yeah. Now, needless to say, IKEA's furniture is cheaper made than rooms to go stuff, but it's just thing after thing after thing, and it breaks it up, and it starts with like couches and everything, and then you go to tables, then you go to kitchens, and then you go to bed, and like it's just like all these different things, and you're just getting bombarded, and you have to walk around the whole showroom floor. Then you go down into like all the like dishes and like the art and like all of this, so you're just getting like sensory overload like the whole time, and you're just like, wow, there's so much stuff, and it's so cheap. It's so cheap. Then you get to the warehouse part, like the whole time, like you're writing down like what the name is, and like it tells you what aisle and everything, and it's like a Sam's pretty much. And if you haven't heard about, Sam's is like closing like thousands of stores and didn't tell any of their
That's
employees.
right. Yeah, that's right. Wait, is it Sam's Club or just
Yes,
Walmart?
it was Sam's Club.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if it was Sam's Club or just Walmart.
Yeah. So it's sort of like this big warehouse, and like you're pulling things off the shelf and all of this, and like you're getting all the parts that you need. So it's like a whole experience. Good way to weed out the bad people. But we went through, and like as much as we got 2 surge protectors, and we got my little iPad on because I needed something to like hold the iPad up because it's like always like on the ground. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean,
not the ground, the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
all right, I got the next topic.
so while we were there, I had an idea because it costs a ton to ship anything from IKEA. I looked at like shipping the couch that we looked at and everything. It was as much to ship the couch as to buy the couch. Like it was double the price just to ship it. So I had this idea form in my head. We rent a U-Haul truck. We go to Atlanta. We get the couch, but we also open it up to other people to get, go up there and purchase their item and bring it back, but they have to pay for it, and they have to also pay for
Gas.
gas going up there, and try to cover for the truck. It's not really a money making thing, but it also like covers us having to rent the truck, so it covers our cost side of things. So in the next few months, I'll be going to IKEA with Amy. So it was just like, we can go up to Atlanta. And like, I was like, we're sitting on the couch, like our feet were killing us after walking around for 3 hours. And I was like, we could do this. And like this whole idea started like forming and everything. So, so I love IKEA.
I mean, I could definitely use some shelves.
There's shelves. Dude, we got, we went to Lowe's. Each one of these was like $30. Which I got to take those 2 back because we're not using those. But they were $30. One that was that long, actually longer than that. Guess how much it was?
75.
10.
It was $19.
Oh,
My first
IKEA?
guess was gonna be.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about one longer than that at Lowe's.
No.
I was I got the question. I didn't
My
hear the
first guess was
question
gonna be
right.
15. I was like, it might be lower, so I went with 10.
Yeah, it was $19. I was just like,
just like break everything in the store.
Sounds like Lowe's isn't really all that low.
Oh.
And the only thing I really like the driftwood, the lighter driftwood color. That's the only thing they didn't have. They didn't have that light color because it goes well with our wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks nice.
We hope you enjoy the new set and everything.
We do.
Yeah.
I do. I don't know if they do, but I mean, I
They
like
do.
it because there's
They
a lot of things we can still even do.
Yeah.
I love it.
They like it.
Wait, like the green
can
screen had its time and it
Yeah.
had its place, and it still will have.
Yeah, it has its place over in that closet.
But you know, we might have to use it a time or two,
Yeah.
maybe.
Maybe.
Why
I'm
not?
going to try to avoid it at all
right.
costs.
Yeah.
Like, Let's Plays, like, we're going to zoom in under this, and that's going to be, like, we're going to, you know, how we had on the 2017 Best of Show, we had, like, the little box and then the game. That's what it's going to look like from now on.
I'm perfectly fine with that, because I really like it. Like it. I know I had to go out and buy shirts that weren't green because green's my favorite color, so I have a lot of T-shirts that have green in it.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, my wardrobe has been held back by the green screen, but
You can now
No, you
wear
can't.
green
now, like, get ready
without being yelled at.
Because I'll walk in, they'll be like, "Really? Really?" Zach's like, "Let me go get you one of my shirts."
I can never wear my Lucio hat because it's like the exact same color as the green screen, and it was a birthday present.
And your hair.
And my hair. Yeah, I actually have hair.
Get ready for next week because it's gonna be in your face green.
Are you wearing like a morph suit?
The Riddler suit.
Oh, you totally should. You totally should.
I don't own one, but I do have a really, really green shirt that I like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a really cool like green glow in the dark Zelda shirt that I can
I don't
wear.
think I have like an Archer shirt. No, like Archer the show, but it's like Green Arrow Archer.
Yeah.
Like I have that. That's green. I'm trying to think of what else I have that has green. I have like an old Avengers shirt that has the Hulk in it.
Yeah, like
I don't wear that much just because it's like I've bought my wardrobe to like work with the green screen.
Yeah.
like, but I mean, I get a lot of T-shirts through Loot Crate, and I get a lot of T-shirts that you know, Holly bought me the Pokemon, but they're Avengers, like.
Mhm.
No, they're Power Rangers. They're dressed up as the Power Rangers.
Yeah. I remember that now.
You know, I couldn't wear that one because it had Bulbasaur.
Oh, you still wore it.
I still wore it one time. And I got yelled at and had to switch shirts. But, you know, it's nice to be able to wear those again.
Yeah.